Welcome, everyone. This is Beth Gerber from Light Text, and it's my pleasure to be here today to deliver an Adobe RoboHelp webinar on flexing your publishing muscles through single source content. This is part of a three-part RoboHelp series. This is actually our final webinar of this series. The first two were recorded, so you can view those at any time on YouTube. If you didn't have a chance to join us live. The first session discusses how to build the foundational elements of a help system, which include topic layouts, style sheets, web templates, everything that you need to begin populating your content and also get buy-in from your stakeholders and create and establish a prototype. Secondly, we talked about how to leverage your documentation in RoboHelp using the various features and functionality to transform your documentation from a static resource to something that's very tailored to your specific end users' needs using those features and really making it an indispensable resource for them. And then today, we're going to be talking about all things publishing. And we're going to focus on single source content when we're discussing publishing. So a little bit about our company. We have been around for over 30 years, primarily supporting the financial and government arenas. These areas are very complex. There's lots of policies, procedures, systems, products. There are lots of employees, clients, customers. They're very robust and they need systems that are agile and can pinpoint to their various end users and their various needs. So RoboHelp is a great solution for them. Our services include developing policy and procedure from scratch, creating user guides and help systems. RoboHelp is an excellent tool for that process. We also do a lot of customized training programs, facilitation, business analysis, and process mapping. So let's talk a little bit about what is single sourcing. Many of you probably are familiar with that term, but for those of you who are not, and for the context of this webinar, it's a technical writing methodology to create multiple documents from one source. But this could mean actually different things. So for today, we're going to focus on these types of single source solutions. The first is that we're going to generate different types of documents from our single source. So we're going to generate PDF, Word, and web outputs. Our web output is already created. So we're going to focus a lot on the PDF and Word versions. If you want to learn more about creating web templates, our first webinar would be a good webinar to review. We're also going to create different subsets of our documentation for unique audiences, for different purposes, products, geography, anything where I like to use the 80-20 rule. Perhaps about 80% of the content can be used for different purposes or for different avenues, but 20% of it is unique. So we have a solution for that. Using condition tags, we can stylize those documents, but reuse most of it. So we'll demonstrate how to do that and a scenario for that. And then finally, we'll also talk about presenting our content with more than one type of branding. So perhaps we're operating in a different area under a different name, different country, different state. Maybe there are different fonts, logos, etc. So we want to have our unique, have our content, but have it have a unique look depending on where we're deploying that content. So some of the benefits of single sourcing, I mean, there are a lot. Primarily, I like to start with it can greatly reduce your authoring time. So as authors, you will see a huge immediate change. we worked with the state of Vermont a couple of years ago, and they had an existing RoboHelp solution for their food and nutrition program, but they had two audiences, internal and public, and they were generating those documents separately and keeping them in sync. When we set up a single sourcing solution, they had a 7,200% improvement in their authoring time. So you do see immediate changes. You're certainly, of course, with that kind of experience, able to meet your publishing needs of different users more effectively. You can be ensured that your content is always in sync because you're not keeping multiple sources together separately. And you're, of course, then you're eliminating duplicative efforts, which results in an increased user confidence in your content, which is really the main objective. If your users have confidence and they find it a trustworthy source, it becomes an extremely valuable resource for them in whatever it is that they're doing. It can certainly reinforce training if you're creating materials from this single source, and can also reduce audit issues if your updates are reflected in all sources. So let's talk about how we would do this theoretically in RoboHelp. So there's a certain methodology that we would employ for the different scenarios that I just presented, and we'll demonstrate those today. So if we're going to be generating different document types, we are going to tag our content. We will create unique tables of contents, create different templates for our Word, PDF, web outputs, establish our presets, and go. If we are creating unique subsets of our documentation, we are going to tag our content. We will set our expressions and then create unique presets for our frameless output and then generate. When we're creating multiple branded documents, we will actually create unique style sheet and topic layout. We'll include variables, especially if there's a name change. We will create a unique web template, establish unique presets, and generate. And these activities are typically a one-time event. So what you'll see here today is setup solutions. So you're going to be setting up these single source requirements. And once they're established, you can continue to move forward and publish as usual. All right, so let's dive right into the presentation. Today we're going to implement these solutions. So we're going to publish a web, Word, and PDF document using templates and output presets. Again, we'll focus mostly on the Word and PDF versions because they have real unique templates, and we have covered some of the web templates in our first webinar. We will also generate subsets of our web output using condition tags, condition expressions. We'll then generate two different branded versions of our web output using unique templates and topic layouts, CSS variables, etc. So let's go right into that now. And I will close out of this PowerPoint. And I have provided on my screen here an example of a RoboHelp project. This is something that this is a general assistance handbook that is one of many for Santa Clara County. They have dozens of these on their public website. We help them by creating templates, style sheets, the web layout, and then went into converting all of their content once those foundational elements were established. So we're going to use this as our sample today, and let's go inside and kind of take a look at what the contents looks like. So you can see that this is highly stylized. There's numbers for their topics. We have an index and a glossary. And we have a lot of, many of these sections, we have a lot of related topics in each item. So we are going to utilize this identification section because it's relatively small right here. And that is going to be our prototype for today. So we're going to make an assumption that in our Word and PDF, our print outputs, that we do not, we go to identification, we do not need to include the numbering, and we don't need to include the related topics. So the purpose of this demonstration is to show you that you can not only generate different types of documents, such as web, Word, and PDF, but you can make them unique by using condition tags and including or excluding different information. So I'm going to now open up the editor, and we will generate, set up our templates for single sourcing these items. So I'm going to open that up right now. And here is our contents. For those of you who are not familiar with RoboHelp, there's a left to right authoring schematic. So we author in our authoring panel. And in our panel, we have various things that we can do. We can, this is our contents. This is what the default is. These are all of our assets, whether they're topics, images, style sheets, topic layouts. They all exist here in our contents. I like to think of this as a mini File Explorer. And if you looked at File Explorer, you would see that it mirrors this exactly. We can build a table of contents, index, glossary. We're going to create some condition tags today and variables. So all of the, and topic layouts. So all of the things that we can do are appear here. And once we decide that we're going to edit some content or build some of these features, we click on the item, and then our authoring panel, our editing window appears. So here's what we can do, here's what it is, and then here's where we author. So here's where we have all of our functions. Our editing functions all reside on the top and the right-hand side here. So we're going to start by creating a condition tag so that we can identify and then later suppress the information that we don't want to have included in this layout. So we do that by using condition tags here in the authoring panel. So I'm going to go ahead and click on condition tag. And you can see that this panel appears, and there are some condition tags already being utilized. So these two, online and print, come out of the box. They're available in whenever you open this up in any version of RoboHelp. But we also have we built a link needed authoring or condition tag. These tags are multi-purpose. You can use them for suppressing content, which we'll be doing right now. You can use them for content filters, which if you'd like to learn more about that, that's a real unique, helpful feature for your end users that's available. Description of that is available in our second webinar. Or you can use them as a list, an internal list for your authoring team. In this case, we wanted to identify if there were any links that were not clear to us. We couldn't resolve them. We tagged them with a link needed, and then we can run a report, and we can identify all of those where we need links, meet with our subject matter experts, and resolve them until they're all resolved, and then we can eliminate this build tag. So for today, we are going to utilize the print tag. because that's out of the box and that's relevant. It makes sense for suppressing something from a print output. Suppression of information, the way that we're utilizing this in this example is a 4-step process. Once the first step is here where we're identifying our tag. So we're going to click on print. It is available in this platform grouping. These are just for you as an authoring team. You'll find as you start to embellish your help system and you utilize single sourcing and content filters, etc., that you will have a lot of these tags. So you can group them if that helps you. I can change the name here. I can change the background if I want. It came out of the box very dark red, so I moved this item right here so that it was a little bit lighter so I could see my content better. So I'm going to go ahead and click on done. Since I have this tag, I'm now going to go into my content right here, and I am going to suppress that information. So I can see that it's covered. That's great. And I'm just going to tag all of that. I'm going to go back to my contents, take my next topic, and I'm going to do the same thing here. I can also right-click, apply condition tag, select that. That's a few more steps, so I think I'm just going to go back to my condition tag panel and drag and drop. And the same with this related topics information. That's tagged now. And I'll go back to our final topic in this small section. You can see that I do have some need link tags. This is not visible to the end user. We don't suppress this information. They don't see it. They see these words and there is no link. But we know that we need to resolve that and go back to it. And this will help us know where those instances reside. So I'm going to finish this last one. There. Okay, all of our condition tags have been applied. So we've created our tag, we've applied our tag. Later, when we go into our output settings, we will create the condition or the expression of what we want to do with the tag. And finally, we'll include it in our output settings so that it takes place in this particular output. Okay, so we've set up our content. Now we are going to go to our table of contents. The last thing that we need to do here in our authoring panel is set up a new table of contents just for this small subset, just for this identification section. So if I go to my table of contents, you can see that it says default. That's an online table of contents. If I double click on it, here's my entire web output. These are the tiles on the landing page. The contents is what you see when you open up the application, the web application. So we don't want to use this TOC for our print layout. We want to have a table of, a layout that works more appropriately for a print layout. So you can see right here, there are some quick links. This is how we edit our table of contents, including our properties over here. But for our print layout, we're going to click on this plus sign, and I'm going to give this new table of contents a name, and you can have a million of these. I mean, they can, you can have one for each topic, whatever makes sense, or you can reuse a table of contents that you've already created. So we're going to select Book TOC because even as it says right here, selecting this provides us more features that are related to a print output. So if you look up here, when I click Done, this has changed because this provides us with some front and back matter that we're going to use for our print output. So I'm going to start with my front matter. I'm going to insert that. I have all of these options that I can include, but I'm going to just include a TOC page. Then I'm going to create a section, and I'm going to call that identification. And I'm going to click on done. And then I'm going to go to my contents, and I'm going to drag and drop these topics here in this section. And if I want, I can rename these. I like to describe the table of contents as just a series of links. These are not your topics. If you delete them, if you rename them like I'm doing right here, this does not impact the actual topics themselves. It doesn't change their name or anything, and they can only be fully deleted in your project manager or permanently changed in your project manager. These are just links. They can be reused. They can be presented in any order you'd like. And they can, this whole table of contents can be deleted and nothing affects the topics themselves. Okay, I'm going to finalize this by inserting some back matter, and let's include an index page, and this will include the index terms that are in these 3 identification topics, and we'll add in a glossary page. It wants to know which glossary. We only have one in this project. I'm going to go ahead and insert that. And if you want to move things around, you can certainly do so. In fact, I think I'd like my glossary in front of my index. So I can use these arrows up here, or I can just drag and drop to move those. Okay, so my table of contents is set. So I am ready to navigate out of my authoring panel here, and I'm ready to do some setup for my output. So let's navigate to our output panel. You can see that there's various things that we can do. What we need to do next is to set up our condition expression for our build tag. So I'm going to double click on that, and I'm going to create an expression. And I'm going to give this expression a name that's meaningful to me. So this is completely up to you as an author. No one else sees this, but I'm just going to call this do not print. That's clear, and that makes sense to me because later I'm going to put this into my output preset settings, and I want to make sure that I remember what it's for. So I am going to go ahead and drag and drop my print tag into this panel, and when I do, my expression appears, and I can manipulate this if I'd like, but I know that I'm going to exclude content when it's tagged with this tag. You may start to have a lot of condition tags and maybe make these a little bit more robust. You can, if this was relevant and I wanted to exclude that as well, I could do that. If I wanted to exclude this and include this and or include or exclude, you can create whatever expression is meaningful to you. So there's a lot of power and use behind condition expressions. So it's something that I encourage you to experiment with and work with to make the most out of your help system. So for now, I'm just going to delete that because that doesn't make sense. I don't want to exclude that information. So I am done with my condition expression. That's available. It doesn't go away unless I want to delete it, but I can use it over and over again. Okay. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to work on our templates. So if I click on templates, you can see that there's a few that are already in my project. These happen to be web templates. I know that because they have this globe right here. But we are going to set up a Word template first, and then we'll follow that with a PDF template. So I'm going to select the plus sign and click on Word template. I have different options, advanced or simple. I'm going to go ahead and select advanced and then I'm going to click Done. And then my template settings appear. And I'm going to just remove this for a minute so that it's very clear here. Okay, so here are my settings, and I want to set these up appropriately. And what I will do is general. I do want to start every topic on a new page. My page layout, I want to make sure that this is created appropriately. I want to have a common page layout, chapter and topics. Chapter is fine. I don't have figures, index, glossary, front matter pages. I just want to have that common. Back matter pages, we'll have those. We'll actually leave that blank for right now. Empty page, we're just going to leave that blank, and then we'll have a front cover, and we're going to use that template. Back cover, we're not going to have a back cover, so I don't have any options other than to remove it completely. So I'm going to do that as well. Okay. Now that I have that selected, actually this back matter, I'm going to give this a comment as well. Now that I've done that, I'm going to go into my page layouts, and let's take a look at our front cover because I know I want to add this front cover to my my print layout. So this cover has a field code right there. This is why the project title appeared. I think that's fine. If you wanted to change that, you certainly could. You can change what's pulling from the field code. You could use the chapter title or topic title if you wanted to instead, but I'm going to leave that exactly as it is, or not use a field code at all. You can remove that and add in your own unique cover page title, and there's the date if I want that. I do know that the orange is not on brand for me, so I am going to quickly swap that out with my color. And the fastest way to do that is to go into the source code and just, there's a couple of instances of this color, and I'm going to change that with my sort of blue-green that's in my style sheet. So you can see that that's been changed, and it will change on the bottom as well when we generate it. So I'm going to stylize this even a little bit more by adding in a image, the seal of the County of Santa Clara. I'm giving this a little bit of an alignment right here so that I have a space to put my seal in. So I'm going to go up to my images, local files. I'd have to navigate to this. And here's my seal of Santa Clara. I'm going to go ahead and open that, and I'm going to insert that. So I have a nice looking cover page, and later I may, when we run it, we'll see how it looks. There may have to be a few adjustments that we make, which is common when you're working with templates. The process is really taking a look at things, making some changes, and then generating and testing until you have it exactly how you'd like it to be. So I'm now going to go into my style sheets, and we are going to look at our layout. There are a few things that I want to change. Again, I see the orange, and I want to remove that orange. That's actually in my border right here. So I'm going to take that same color and swap it out. Oops. Actually, I'm going to use this color instead. Yeah, we'll use that color. Same here. And there's only a few of these, so we'll do them together. And these last two, we will change up as well. Okay, so we've changed those. Now we're going to move on to our content, and we're going to make a few adjustments that I know need to take place by the fact that I have tested this and decided how I wanted it to look. So we're actually, for our print layout, we are going to use the style sheet that is included in this template. We don't have to, and when we do a PDF layout, we'll demonstrate how you can use the style sheet that's already available in your project. But for this demonstration, we're going to go ahead and make a few adjustments to our content style sheet. I know that in my layout, the paragraphs are too close together unless I do some separation. So I'm going to do that right here in my margins. And then I'm going to go to my headers, and I'm going to quickly change these fonts a bit, give them the color that I want, give that a bold. I'm going to do the same with my heading 3, bold and italicized. And my heading 2 is going to have a different color. And that's going to be bolded. So we only go to a heading 3, so I've got a nice layout for my chapter content. I'm going to go ahead and go down here to chapter, and the template provides me with an auto number style, which says chapter, and then it provides a number right here. It's a little indented when you look at it in the actual print layout. I don't want to include that. You could if it makes sense to you, but I actually wanted to get rid of my numbering. So I'm just going to take that away, and I'm going to take that away here because I don't want those sections numbered. But if you do, that's perfectly fine. Okay, so we have completed our template. This is a one and done. You can always tweak it, but we are essentially finished with our template. So this can be used over and over again. So it's something that takes a little time to set up, but then you're good to go. So from here, I am going to go into my output presets, and I am going to generate a Word document. I already have the preset available here. These can be, you can have a lot of these. You can see I have several presets that I'm working with. If this one doesn't appear in your panel, you can click on the plus sign and select Word and give it a name. I called mine Word document, and then it will appear in your panel here. So once it appears, you're going to click on it, and let's just go over the settings and then generate our output. So this is my general settings. This is driving into my output folder, which is great. I'm going to call this Word file identification. And I'm going to look at my content. I want to make sure that I'm using my print table of contents. It's probably going to default to your default table of contents, but that's our web output, and we don't want it to look like that. We won't get our front or back matter. I don't like to include all reference topics, but that's something that you can do if you want all of the topics that you have linked or referred to in your content set to also be printed. All right, so we are going to use our condition expression of do not print, and I like to include my expanded and drop down text. I tend to use a lot of examples that are in expanded text. I also use a lot of screenshots and things like that, but that's a personal preference. Metadata, here's a title of our topic. Layout, we're going to use the advanced template. And in this scenario, we're going to exclude all of our topic CSS files. And those are the last settings that we need to populate. If we were using a Word template or something else, we would we have the opportunity to map our styles, but we're not doing that here. So now that I've set up my options, I am going to go ahead and generate my preset. So let's take a look at it. And it will likely have a few adjustments that need to be made, which I can then go back and adjust my template. For example, this happens to be not centered, so I'll want to go back and make that adjustment. And also there's a line spacing issue here, but I can quickly resolve that. And there's some line spacings here. So I'll want to go back and adjust my template to make sure that those are removed. But otherwise, I have a nice cover page. You can see that I have, using my common layout, I have the word General Assistance Handbook. Here's my contents. Here's my identification section. Identification, age and identity. My topic titles are looking good. You can also see that our looks like I had a little. I'll have to go back to the template and look at why that happened. But you can see that that we don't have our numbering and we don't have our related topics. So that's excellent. And there we go. And then we have our glossary, and it has the glossary title right there. And then it follows by our index. And these are the terms that are indexed in this particular topic. So it's a good start, and you can see the page numbers, the branding is all on point there. So it's a nice looking Word document to be able to publish or provide to my end users. So let's go back now to the editor. And we are going to set up a PDF template. We're going to do this one a little bit differently. I'm going to close some of these right now. And we are going to go into our templates. Our condition expression is already set up, so we just need to create a template for our PDF output. So I'm going to click on the plus sign, and I'm going to click on PDF template. We're going to do a little bit more of a faster version for our PDF output. We have options of a basic template, a high-tech template, a prime template that looks a lot like our advanced Word template, but we're going to use basic for this demonstration. And I'm going to click on done, and we are going to look at our settings. We do want to start everything on a new page. This is our heading levels for our TOC, our page layout. We're going to use common. We're not going to have a cover page. We will have an index. So I'm going to put common there. Glossary, we're going to use common. Chapters, we'll use common. And back better pages, we'll use common. All right, so again, no cover page or back page is going to be in this particular layout. So here are I have some other options if you want to have bleed or trim marks, printer marks. You can do a lot of customization with PDF templates. Our style sheet, we're not going to work with our style sheet here like we did in the Word version, because we're going to use our style sheet from our authoring panel instead. So we are going to allow that to be exactly what it is. And now we'll go to our output presets. And if you don't have a PDF preset listed, you're going to use the plus sign and select PDF and give it a name such as PDF, and then click done. Okay, so I'm going to double click on that. The same sort of completion is followed here. You have an output path. It just needs to go to a unique output drive or file. we are going to call this identification. Our content, we want to make sure that we use print. Again, same settings as our PDF. We're not going to include reference topics. We definitely want to include our do not print expression. We're going to use our expanded and include our drop-down text, our layout. We are going to use the basic template. Here, I unchecked the exclude all topic CSS files because we want to use that for our PDF generation. We won't have any security or advanced, but there are certainly things that you can experiment with. But let's just, very quickly generate a PDF document. You must have Java installed on your computer in order to run a PDF. So if you have an error when you start to run, and it would happen immediately, it's because you need to install Java. So let's view the output. And here's our contents. It's a little bit more generic, which is fine. And here we have our identification section, our age and identity. You can see that we don't have any numbers, any related topics. So all of our suppression took place. We have our glossary and followed up by our index terms. So everything that we required in our template is available in our output here. So in summary, we created Word and PDF documents and stylized those a bit from one single source. So we've got our frameless output, which is our web output, our PDF, and our Word documents, all from one source. Okay, we're going to transition now to another type of single sourcing, which is creating subsets of our documentation. So I am going to close all of these up here. So we're kind of working with a fresh slate. And let's say that for the purposes of an example, that we have two different audiences for our General Assistance Handbook. One audience is our internal staff, which is allowed to have information on all of the topics. But let's say our general population, the general public, should not see some content. So we really need to create two versions of this. And this is very similar to the scenario that I described with the state of Vermont. All right, so let's say for purposes of this example that our policy topics should not be viewed by our general public manual. They could only be reviewed by the internal staff. So we are going to suppress these just like we did with the print output. So we're going to do that by creating a condition tag. And this time we're actually going to create one. We're going to click on the new tag and we're going to select a group. This is just for you, so you can place it wherever you'd like. I think audience makes sense. And I'm going to call this internal. And I'm going to give it a background. And that background, let's just use this green right here. I'm going to click on apply and done. So I have a unique tag for anything that I want to suppress from my general public view. So I'm going to go back to contents now that I have that tag, and I am going to take my policy topic. So we're going to do two things. We're going to apply these tags at the topic level, and also there is policy information within the topics, and we will suppress some of the topic content as well. So let's start by identifying the topics that we want to suppress in our contents panel. So I am going to select this topic. And I'm going to apply condition tags, select internal, and click on apply. To do this a little bit more quickly, we can do them as a group. So I'm going to select policies. I have control selected on my keyboard. And wherever I see the word policy in a topic, I'm going to tag that. There's another one. Okay. And now I'm going to right click and I'm going to click on properties, and you can see this is multiple topic properties. I'm going to scroll down and give that a condition tag at the topic level. I'm going to apply a tag, and I'm going to select internal and click on apply. So that's been now applied, and I can tell because there's a little blue button. You can have more than one tag applied to a topic. That's perfectly fine. So those topics will be suppressed. So let's look, though, at some of the content. If I click on a topic here, you can see there's some policy information here as well. So I want to make sure that that's not available to the public view. So I'm going to select that content and then drag and drop that. Let me go back to my contents again. Here's another policy. I'm going to take it all the way from the heading right here. And we'll go to condition tags, internal. So this is going to take me a little time to set up. But once it's set up, I can just modify it every once in a while as applicable. But it is, established for me for a one-time event. So this is a good use of time in terms of future savings. All right, and I'm going to go to here to condition tags, and I'm going to select internal, and all of these policies will be selected. So there's certainly more that I could do here, but we'll just start with these and then check them out after we generate our output. So now that we have that all established, we're going to go ahead and implement our output settings. We don't need to create a new table of contents. We're going to use our default table of contents, but stylize our outputs. So we're going to go to our output settings. First, we need to create a condition expression for the internal only tag that we created. So I'm going to go here to my condition expressions and click on the plus sign, and I'm going to call this something meaningful to me, which is internal use only. And I'm going to click on done. I'm going to take my internal tag and drag and drop it here. And so my expression is exclude when the audience is internal. Again, you can have more than one used here, but this is what it will look like for this particular layout. Okay, now that I'm done with that, we're going to go to our output presets. We are going to go to our frameless content. And you can see here, I have two frameless layouts established. So this one is my original, and does not have any condition expression selected. And I'm going to actually rename this to be clear. And I'm going to call this internal. And that way I know that this is my internal output that has everything available. So this is what will be published to those folks that can see that. But I have another layout called general. I already added it, but to add it, you simply click on the plus sign. It's going to be a frameless output, and you're going to call it whatever you'd like. In this case, I called it frameless general, and then clicked on done, and it appeared. So you can have more than one type of layout, and you will if you start to single source. So if I go to my general settings, these are going to look a little bit different. First of all, I changed the title, and I've called this now General Assistance Handbook, All Audiences. I have an output path that's the same, all of those settings. If I look at my content, I'm still using the default. I have an index. I have a glossary, etc. But I am going to make sure that I select my condition expression of internal use only. So that's important in my general section settings. And then I will go to my layout. These, I'm using the same template that I always use, the search and publish. I let those default. So I generated that content, and just to save a little time here, if you look at the output, it looks like this. It now has a section called All Audiences. I actually happen to have this topic up. If you recall, there was a whole section on Income Master policies that's no longer visible. We had director's exception. There was a policy section above that that's no longer there, etc. You can also see that we don't have the policy topic and some of those other topics that were suppressed in our version here. So, I might want to have a table of contents if that's important, and renumber these. So if I wanted, those numbers to all start at 1, I could do so. That would involve creating another table of contents. They actually stopped using these numbers ultimately. So it's not something that I feel like I need to do at this point. But anyway, the concept is that now I've got a subset of my handbook for my general audiences, and it doesn't include a whole lot of information that really is only specific to my internal group. It's for their eyes only. And the content that could be tagged, can be a step in a list of procedures. So it can be anything that makes sense. Okay, so finally, we are going to transition to our last single source layout, and that is going to be branding content for a different organization. So let's say that we are using this same exact content here in Santa Clara for the county of Los Angeles. So for purposes of this example, let's say that all of this is absolutely the same for LA County, but we need to brand it differently because they have a different look and feel. And we want to make sure that it's clear. There's a lot of references to Santa Clara in our topics all over. So we want to change those references of Santa Clara to Los Angeles, and then give it sort of a unique look and feel. This green, isn't what we want to use, this kind of layout. We want to use something different. We also want to have a different look. We don't want it to have the Santa Clara green look. We want it to have its own unique branding. So we're going to go ahead and set this up. So let's go back to the authoring panel. And one of the things that we want to do is we want to include a variable. So I've added this already, but the way to do that is to click on the plus sign and add a variable. In this case, I put county, and the value is right now Santa Clara. And then I clicked on done, and this variable appeared right here. So wherever you see the word Santa Clara, course, it will probably take me a minute to find something with Santa Clara in it. Here we go. The Santa Clara County, you can kind of see right here. This is sort of soft, but if I hover over it, you can see that there's a variable. If I want to change this, I can go to my variables and change this value to Los Angeles and click on Done. And you can see that that flipped to Los Angeles. So a variable is like a flip. If you want to switch things up, you can do so. So there are obviously a lot of references to Santa Clara in this particular manual. You know, it's a lot of topics. So to find every instance of Santa Clara in this big manual would be huge. So what I did was I went into this field, my source view, and clicked on or found the variable expression right here, or the variable tag. And then I went back and used the search and replace, and I found the word Santa Clara, and I said, let's replace with this variable tag. And I wanted to, the only other change that I made was find it in source view. And then once I selected Find All, you can see that there's a lot. There's 83 matches in these files. So I actually went ahead and clicked on Replace All, and all of those variables appeared. So that's how I populated all of the variables in this project. Otherwise, going by one would be pretty laborious. So I'm going to exit out of there. So we've created our variable. We are going to now flip this from a Santa Clara manual to a LA County manual. So we are going to click on County first, and we're going to change that variable to Los Angeles. And we're going to select Done. And once I do that, every instance of the word Santa Clara is going to change to Los Angeles. So the other thing I want to do is create a topic layout for Los Angeles so that it's clear what manual I'm in. So I'm going to go to my topic layout, and this is where I have my header and my footer. I created one called LA by clicking on the plus sign, called this LA. And I also created a unique style sheet, and we'll take a look at that as well. So I selected that style sheet and then clicked on Create. And when I did, this populated. In my contents, let's go to the style sheet itself. I went to my CSS file, and actually I always recommend this. Keep your default style sheet and duplicate this. So I duplicated and called this LA and clicked on Done. And once I went there, I then started to manipulate my styles a bit. So you can see that here are my headings. I just did some quick changes to that, but this is my style for LA. So you can see that this is quite different than the Santa Clara style. Okay, so from here, I want to now, my final step in my authoring panel is to flip all of my styles from and topic layouts from LA, or Santa Clara to LA. So I'm going to go into my view here and do this all at once. I don't want to do this all separately. So I'm going to go to my topic list, and I am going to, you can see the topic layout is SCHTT. Let's see, I want to see my style sheets. I don't really care about this or this or this. So here are my style sheets that are being used. Here's the topic layout. So I'm going to select all of these. And all at once, I'm going to right click and click on properties. And this is a multiple topic property. item, we're going to go to LA, and then we're going to go to our style sheet, and we're going to select the LA style sheet and click on apply. Okay, so let's take a look at this topic. You can see that it has the proper branding. In my LA County topic layout, I have a footer called LA County, so this now has that branding. So we're going to finalize this now. We're going to use the same table of contents. If there were things that you wanted to include or not include in your table of contents, I would suggest that you create a new table of contents and call this LA. It's going to be another online TOC, and perhaps you want to take the default one and you can select all of this, copy it, and put it in the LA item, move it around, take and delete topics, etc. You can make this unique to this layout. But for now, we're just going to keep our default table of contents. So I'm now going to go into my output settings, and I want to create a template for my for this Los Angeles County view. So I am going to go here to my templates. I did create one called LA. I did this by clicking on the plus sign and selecting frameless template. I actually used the Blue Lagoon. So this is the one that I selected, and I've made very few modifications to this. So you can kind of, get a sense of what that can look like. I did a few little items in adjusting the theme, the layout font, etc. But that was, pretty much it. So now I want to create an output preset for Los Angeles. So I'm going to click on the plus button, and this is a frameless output, and I'm going to call this LA. And I'm going to select done. And this is the General Assistance Handbook. I could call this Los Angeles. And the output path, let me go ahead and have that default to my outputs. My content is going to be my default table of contents. If I wanted to use a different one, I could use that LA one. I'm going to include an index. I want to include my default glossary. I don't have any condition expressions. I want everything to show. But if I did have things that I wanted to suppress, you could create a condition expression, a tag, just like we did in the other two examples, and then create a condition expression like LA only or something like that. And a variable set. I want to make sure that I include my variable set so that everything says LA. And topic layout, we are going to select our LA template, and then we're going to go ahead and we'll leave our default, our search and publish settings, save all, and then generate. So while this is generating, let's review what we've done here today. We have generated different document types from a single source, Word, PDF, web outputs. We have created a subset of our content by using content filters, content tags, condition tags, where we've created an output for our internal versus our general public. And finally, we have created a different branded view of our output that's specific for Los Angeles County. So it should finish up in a couple of minutes. There we go. And let's take a look at it. So this is our general assistance layout for Los Angeles. You can see that all of the topics just lay as they are. You can swap out images, which you likely would do, but that is also, a process. But you can see here that that all of our content is branded for this particular output. Let's see, find some items. Of course, I'm looking for Los Angeles. Let me search that right now. So here we go, for new residents of Los Angeles County. So everything says Los Angeles, not County of Santa Clara. So again, these are resources that you need to set up, but once they are set up, you are good to go and able to generate and manipulate as you continue to edit and grow your content source. So with that, I'm going to exit and thank everyone for joining me today. Here's my contact information again. I welcome any questions that you might have. If you'd like to reach out to me on LinkedIn or email me, I'm always here, and I love helping and supporting folks in this endeavor, because I do believe that this product is superior to others when it comes to generating really robust and meaningful and agile platforms. So thank you very much, and I appreciate your attendance today.